All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our next series of the day. Will be EHOME versus Team Root once again. This time around, however, Team Root arguably have a stronger team that they're versing. It is, of course, MLPDota. johnxfire with me. John, we're back in Dota TV because the server hates us. How the hell are you feeling?
Mike, I'm feeling great. This is something I'm used to, of course. Something we're both used to, really. But I have to say, it's something. Connecting to China is never easy, especially if you're in Oceania or Southeast Asia. There's just something up with that connection there. To
Yeah.
say the least. That. We'll leave it at that. Southeast Asia and China connection. But Mike, eHome against Team Root. These two teams have played against each other multiple times already in the H Cup. Upper bracket finals, Team Root took it 2-1. Grand finals of that cup, they faced eHome again and took that 2-0. So we'll see if eHome has managed to adapt to Team Root's playstyle, which, it quite frankly, it's been working quite well for Team Root. And I feel like in this specific matchup, yes, eHome's a strong team, certainly up there. But I have to say I favor Team Root going in here simply because they've basically beaten EHOME twice in a row now. And this is gonna be the third time they're facing against each other. We'll see if they manage to keep that up.
Indeed, we will, John. But what happens when Team Root has the Medusa taken? They take
Oh
the anti-mage. I
god.
love this. Is this a...
Oh.
Are they going to put, you know, DDC on the anti-mage, or is this just just standard? Just leave it and play it.
Well, we'll find out, Mike. I believe that will be another end zero. I don't think there's any need for anything too wacky coming out here, Mike. But again, Team Root opens up with that Magnus, which they really love to draft in. And this time, instead of Nagasiren, because of that Medusa pickup, they go for the anti-mage, right? And I feel like that does fit into Team Root's style quite a fair bit. They always have one hero that relies on, like, just farming the heck out of everything. In the past two games, it was Super's Medusa, of course, and now they switch it up. Medusa's gone, they take the AM.
Yeah, they certainly do. It should be a fun one. Like, we don't really get to see too much AM these days, but it's slowly becoming more popular. Slowly. Though, John, why are we seeing Medusa all of a sudden? Like, what happened? We were casting DPL the other day, and it was like picked up once the whole time, I think. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, like we come to the major qualifiers in China, and every game we've had so far has had a Medusa in it.
I think that comes down to Team Root, really. Root is basically the team that still keeps going back to that hero. I think in this case, eHome just picked it up to soft ban it from Team Root because, they've played against Team Root so many times. They've seen this Medusa come out multiple times as well. It's pretty much a pick as acting as a ban. I think in this case, it's not that eHome particularly values that hero a lot. It's that they know Team Root will pick it up. In fact, they could have probably picked it up first phase if they wanted for Team Root. So it's something I feel like they just decide to take away and make use themselves. The hero itself has not gotten too much changed besides the interaction between stoned targets and Mystic Snake, I believe. I think the map change benefits her slightly in that she can pop in and out of the ancient camps a bit. I mean, in and out of the hard camps earlier on and stack that up and clear it faster rather than waiting for her Mask of Madness. But beyond that, I don't think there's been anything really too big changing it up for the hero.
I do love the fact that Team Root, like, you see the Medusa being picked up, and they just didn't even think about it. Just went straight to the anti-mage. It's almost like they knew that eHome was going to pick it up to just soft ban it against them, and rather they'll just have a hero ready for it straight off the bat. Like, they just did not seem to give one care in the world. And eHome now, they might be stuck with a hero that they're not going to enjoy playing too much. Like, we've casted a lot of eHome over the past few weeks, John. We haven't seen them play Medusa once. Though Rubik,
Yeah.
yes, we have seen that, and that will come out.
Oh yeah. The Rubik is definitely going to do a lot. Of course, a lot of big spells to steal. The Magnus alone gives you so much as a Rubik to work, right? You could, if you can catch that RP, of course it's going to be amazing, especially in conjunction with that Medusa. But not only that, the AM, steal his blink, you can suddenly join fights much easier without having to farm blink for your own. And power is going to be really nice to accelerate Medusa's farm at the very least. And Shockwave does have a tool as a repositioning kind of nuke, along with Skewer, of course, being potent every time. Team Root does go back to their Shadow Shaman as well, so completing a first set of picks that quite honestly isn't out of the norm for Team Root.
No.
We've seen it time and time and again. They've run this a lot in H Cup as well, Mike. The AM, the Magnus, and the Shadow Shaman, really something they prioritize. I mean, they really prioritize the Magnus and the Shaman. The core really just changes around for the most part,
Yeah.
if it's not Naga Siren. So Team Root, I feel, has the opening they want. EHOME, it's pretty strong, I have to say. I mean, they kind of pick up the Medusa to ban it out from Team Root, but EHOME has played the Medusa not in DPL when we were casting, but they were playing it in H Cup apparently, Mike, at least once or twice.
Right.
So it's something they have run before, but I'm not too sure how comfy they are with it because again, if you check their match history again, it was mainly just in 1 or 2 games in H Cup where they picked this hero up. So I'm keen to see how EHOME performs with this hero. They have a very solid sets of supports as well. The Dazzle, we all know how that can do in lane, just the harass potential from refreshing that poison touch. The bad Juju scales up well as well. As long as they don't run it as a core, I think they have a pretty solid draft so far as well, Mike.
Certainly so. Of course, with that Medusa anyway, it's not like you really forget how to play the hero. It really hasn't changed that much. eHome, they do go for another old favorite, it seems. The Axe comes out, so now you have that position 3 for the side of eHome being revealed, and I mean, it is up against an anti-mage, John. Like, why the hell not? He does require getting close to the enemy to actually deal some damage, so if there's anyone that can counter the anti-mage's blinking initiation, I guess it is the Axe.
The Axe will be able to do a lot here. I'm not too sure if they pick that out of the matchup with the AM, or if they pick it mainly to cancel out Axe pickup for Team Root themselves to go through that shallow grave. I feel like it's a mix of both. It's not really the best against AM, I have to say. Like, out of all the right click carries in the world, AM's probably one of the ones that Axe doesn't like facing up against too much because the possibility is there, of course, that you drain most of your mana and jump in initially early on as well because your mana pool's not amazing, so you're not going to be able to follow up with that Culling Blade sometimes. So that might be an issue for EHOME as it goes on. I think, again, this really covers the basis of their draft, really. Just making sure that Team Root can't pick up the Axe to have a way of dealing with that shallow grave from Dazzle. I think that in and of itself is a big plus. The fact that it's pretty okay against AM as well is a boon, but not the main purpose, I think.
Certainly not. Undying, though, will be the pickup from Root. Nothing too surprising there. This hero still gets picked up very often. In fact, we always talk about how they did end up pretty much buffing his ultimate anyway, so he's got more scalability throughout that mid to late game. Just with that ultimate alone, and the decay, of course.
10 seconds remaining.
But what's to finish it all off? Like, both... Well, I say both, but Team Root's really the only one left that needs that mid hero. Unless eHome are planning to run that Medusa safe lane. But I imagine not.
Yeah, I reckon not. I feel like you do have quite a fair few options if you're Team Root right now. It's going to sound odd, and I know when it comes down to lane, this is actually a wash for Medusa. Like, she tends to win this matchup, but I feel like if you're a Team Root, you could probably go for something like an OD. I know I keep saying that every time. Like, I feel like it rounds out this draft quite well. If someone's being graved up, of course, you can just Astral Imprisonment. That's going to kill them after the grave, and once they're out for the orb, they're going to die. It's I don't see EHOME really having a way of dealing with that massive nuke coming out as well. The Medusa might be an issue in the laning phase, but I don't think you need too much farm if you go for it. They go for the Kunkka instead, which is fair enough. It helps to mitigate the damage output from that Medusa with a boat, and you can keep people down for quite a fair bit, and play around that initiation from the Axe, Ghost Ship to save people, do some damage yourself. The one issue I have with Kunkka is really the cleave changes really hurt his Tidebringer harass. So I'm not sure how much you can really zone out the Medusa just with that now. It should be interesting to see this lane matchup though. If they're gonna run, it's most likely a Kunkka mid, but I believe you do have the potential of running that Magnus mid, although I think that's actually worse for Team Root. So probably gonna run this Kunkka mid. You're gonna have this off lane Magnus and the safe lane anti-mage, of course. And I feel like eHOME should be very happy with that. Medusa, again, should be able to at least trade evenly with Kunkka at the very worst situation, at probably later on she could take over. We'll see how it goes. And they close out their draft with a Drow Ranger.
There's been a lot of questions around the Drow Ranger, John. I mean, a lot of people have been saying she got nerfed quite hard. Although, there have been some interesting changes. The fact that she can pretty much jungle now at level 6 without anything. She does have that chance to just... In fact, is it even level 6? I believe it is. Like, that she can just pretty much kill a creep without... Like, just by chance. I think it's 20%, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was some other changes. I can't really remember because I'm not really a Drow player myself, John, but it's... I believe they did buff it just slightly recently.
They did tweak the numbers a bit. I'm really curious as to how EHOME runs this. It's the first time we've seen it, and we've covered one entire tournament before this, Mike. So it should be interesting to see it pop out. I feel like, gone are the days of the old days, of Drow strats, because that aura is reworked. It's gonna be interesting to see how EHOME run this Drow. I think the emphasis has to be with Drow. Actually, the emphasis is on that early game. It's really good against AM, mind you. That silence is still very potent. Shoving AM back and keeping him in place is really good. Again, we have to see how it goes in practice. Like, that Pierce is pretty nice, and AM does have really high armor and agi gain, so it's just gonna get higher. But as a Drow, you should be able to go through it because of your reworked skills. I'm just not sure overall about its impact.
Well, you've got that 120 physical proc damage against heroes with the marksmanship now as well. So it's a lot of damage she can dish out. I guess that's not really the problem. We'll have to see how they run it. Both of us don't really know what to be expecting here from EHOME in this Drow strat. I mean, if you can even call it that anymore, because it doesn't feel anywhere near what it used to. But let's see.
Again, it's that reworked marksmanship that makes it really interesting, I have to say. Again, as a Drow, a lot of your right-click damage was depending on marksmanship, right? Because that bonus agi, really buffed up your right-clicks. Now it doesn't work that way. So you're going to be depending... I mean, you basically have the same damage as before, at the very least in terms of agi gain and base damage. But you won't get that boost at level 6. Instead, you get a Pierce, which is very different. Again, the prioritization is a bit strange. You can kill creeps instantly. That's very much... I believe that was your Dota 1 skill. Long time ago.
Yes, it was.
So it's an interesting change, but with a change of precision aura as well, it's a very, very strange way of redesigning the hero. The emphasis is definitely a bit different now. I want to see if it can really take over. I think overall the reception has been a bit chilly, Drow, which is funny because, of course, she has frost arrows, but it's been a bit chilly for this hero, Mike.
Very nice pun, John.
Thank
DDC
you.
top lane. It was in trouble. It's a couple of harassment, but he'll be fine. The main thing is, like, they seem to... I mean, unless they're going to really try and carry with this Drow, you do have that precision aura, like that 80% attack speed to the Medusa with split shot could actually amplify more damage than the old aura later on in the game, potentially.
Yeah, that potential is there. Again, we still have to find out because we've seen very little of this hero. We ourselves have not seen this hero in action in a pro game. I mean, because for some reason that's one of the heroes DPL skipped out on.
Well, they definitely weren't big fans. But we'll see. I mean, we're only going to, really see when we get to the later stages of the game how effective this Drow is. That's what it really feels like here. Super mid lane. Up against ASD on that Medusa. Already with that Tidebringer. He can harass quite a lot early on, but it's when that mana shield comes up and when you get those few levels of Mystic Snake, when things start to get really stupidly hard if you're a Conker.
Yeah, it definitely does. One thing we haven't talked about, Mike, the Dazzle is being run by Fate Beyond. It looks like Y is the support X, I think, in this case.
Oh, so we are running a core Dazzle.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Interesting choice. Again, we haven't ourselves seen it pay off, and we've seen Core Dazzle come out at least 2-3 times now. But maybe fourth third or fourth time's the charm, right?
I hope to see it, honestly. Like, I do want to see this core dazzle work. It's yet to happen. This could be the game. Meanwhile, bot lane, Yao and the Shaman, they are up against the Rubik and Ego on that drought. Again, it's hard to comment. Like, Ego, even if he farms well, it's kind of like, what does this hero do? It's only on one last hit anyway right now. Like, Ego is really struggling in this lane to get those last hits. And John, it is a very, very ugly attack animation. If I've ever seen one. Like, that Drow Ranger attacks so damn slow when you've got, you know, no real agility or no attack speed, attack speed bonuses. It's just, it feels very hard to get those last hits in.
Yeah, it's, I mean, that's basically what Precision Aura is trying to fix now. Its emphasis is on attack speed to yourself instead of damage, but it's still abysmal at level 1. Yeah, I mean, it's just that raw animation cycle. It's a lot of frames where, and you know, the projectile speed isn't that amazing either. So it's a bit hard to really secure those last hits effectively, and I feel like that's something TR can definitely play around. Yao should be able to really abuse this. He is ahead right now in terms of last hits, and you know, Ego is pretty much having a bit of a rough time right now, Mike.
Yeah. It does look like they'll have a go at the Shaman, but level 1 Frost Arrows won't really slow him down too much. Top lane though, DDC, looks like he's just going to go deny himself to the tier 2 tower, and he does do so. He was basically out of HP and mana, so no reason to stick around. Though, bot lane again, this Rubik is falling very low, and he might just be dead. The Ether Shock's not available right now, but he doesn't even need it. The Shockwave comes in, and the Shaman just gets the last right click.
Nice clean first blood for TR. Again, not the best start for EHOME. Your Drow Ranger who really wants to be online a bit faster, I think. It's not the worst start, at very least. It's the Rubik that dies. Still, it's not the most amazing start. On the other hand, at very least, your top lane is going quite a fair bit better. You do have Fate Beyond doing quite well in this Dazzle, and Never End is the one struggling up top now.
Yeah, I was copying quite a few Frost Arrows. It's getting to that point now where you've got the level 2 in Frost Arrows and the slow actually means something at 32%. So, expect to see this drought starting to catch up a bit in farm and probably dishing out a lot more harassment. Like you said though, on the other side of things, Never isn't really having the best time either. Faith Beyond is being very frustrating. And it really is all in that poison touch, John. Like, well, actually bot lane. Ego falling very low, but so did the Shaman. They both end up salving up, and they both will walk away safely. But the point I was trying to make, John, that poison touch, the fact that you can refresh it is so annoying. And now DDC going to end up falling. Never End will end up TPing out, well, not TPing, blinking out. Their Y is there. And with that haste rune, looks like he probably will have enough time to actually take Nether End down, and he will. Faith Beyond comes in, uses the heal on himself, and will find the final damage that was required.
I think one thing we didn't mention while analyzing this draft, Mike, is that the poison touch will be refreshed by that battle hunger. So it's pretty potent to really just keep them down. I think that's why DC's been really struggling. Just never-ending damage coming out, and now Never End as well. He's going to cop a bit.
It's a lot of damage. Already half his HP gone.
He dropped the tombstone as well. That's just 100 gold wind way of Y. And it's an 80-second cooldown, Mike. You don't just drop it like that.
Yeah. More importantly, though, like, giving Y that gold as well, he's going to be able to go pick up his brown boots finally. And even then, like, you don't want him to get a quick blink dagger on this Axe, because that's basically all Axe needs in these team fights to become effective.
Definitely so. And, you know, again, Fate Beyond is really shutting down Never End. We were talking about the Drow struggling. I think Never End's actually doing much worse. 13-5, Drow 16-1, and then compare that to Dazzle 25-17. And it doesn't paint a very pretty picture, Mike.
No. No, it definitely does not. I've got to say as well, looking at this Medusa farming right now, like, I feel like this Precision Aura actually is making, a difference. Like, you get 40% extra attack speed. ASD just looks like he can farm those neutral camps so much faster now because of that added attack speed, and I don't know. I guess we're still yet to see, but it doesn't actually seem that bad.
I feel like I have to agree with you. This is surprisingly good in terms of that. I mean, it's not good for I guess it really accelerates the farm. We'll see how much it helps with pushing. It should be pretty nice as well, I guess, overall, but it just feels odd switching it up from attack to attack speed, and it seems to be working out quite well, although ASD does have quite a fair bit of items on him now.
Well, bot lane.
4 rate bands up.
Rubik, very, very nice juking coming out from him. He actually manages to get away from what looked like the impossible, although that shockwave almost takes him out. 15 HP. Meanwhile, top lane, they will end up getting Faith beyond Super. He ended up rotating around on that Kunkka. That was I feel like a pretty important kill to get on Faith Beyond. He was just abusing that lane way too much.
Definitely so. Again, you want your AM to have a fairly good start. They do rotate never into bot lane now. I'm not sure if this matchup against Drow early on is going to be any better. It's not like, as an AM, you're especially tanky. I guess you just want to be next to Yao so you can clear some camps fast.
Yeah.
Could probably be it.
Just give him the impale every 30 seconds, just so he can just farm those neutrals safely. But I'll tell you, this isn't the most amazing start for the side of Root. 3-2, net worth lead's still their way, but certainly seems like EHOME are just getting more off this map, though. As I say that, it looks like Root are trying to make a play onto Ego. Yeah, just breaking down the tree line. Never end. We'll jump in, we'll find him, but look at that. An immediate rotation coming out from Y. He has not got the call available, but he will throw out the Battle Hunger first. The Hex is there onto Ego, though. He's still making a run for it. Now the Shackles, where the hell are they? They never come out. And now the call's available on Y. He does pull it out onto the Shaman, who does not end up going down anyway. And that'll be it. Both teams back off to safety, but I mean, ultimately, Ego, he's probably the safer one, and he's just going to go start farming Ancients now, apparently. And he one-shots it. And he one-shots that one.
20%, Mike.
Casually
20%.
just one-shots 2 Ancients in a row. There's another one.
Oh, yeah. 20%. And I guess that's one thing, right? It can really accelerate your farm quite well. It is going to be fairly nice for Ego. He will get the farm fast. And I believe with the change to this here, again, the emphasis is kind of joining team fights a bit earlier. And it looks like Ego is going to make some... He's going to try to do something up top.
Yeah, Ego. Torrent Boat's going to hurt a lot. Super will give it to him. And with that, I think Ego's just dead. Does get hexed up in the end. Super will take the final right click on that hero. And John, I was about to ask, like, why even bother going up top? You saw how efficiently he was taking those jungle creeps. Just stay in the jungle for a while.
I'm not sure. I feel like they might have thought they could get a kill with Fate Beyond. That's the only reason I can really see it. Otherwise, he's sharing the lane with another core who is doing a lot of work. DDC is probably dead.
Yeah, Faith Beyond. That poison touch, just refreshing it over and over again, and it is max level. I'm having a look at these net worths, by the way, after Ego died. Like, he's at 2.2k net worth. He's below the AM by 600 gold. And, I mean, they're both doing pretty terribly right now in terms of farm, but... I mean, it's not like you want your Drow Ranger to just be a walking aura. You definitely want her to have a bit of DPS going for you.
Definitely so. And again, when you look at those numbers, you have to consider the fact that Never End can farm a lot faster with that Magnus on his team.
Yeah. They do find another kill onto the Shadow Shaman up at that top rune. So EHOME, they continue their aggression. And they continue to do this. This is what we're seeing with teams right now. They're just being really aggressive while their Medusa just farms. That's all they're doing. And it just seems to work, right? Because you look at that Medusa. She's got the 4 Wraith Bands up. She's got the Treads and the Morbid Mask. And she's actually got the full Mask of Madness. She just needs to bring it out in the Courier.
Well, they expand RP down bot, Mike.
Yeah. He's going to keep trying to make this chase. They should still be able to get him. But this happened before. And the Rubik just juked them out. And if he does it again, which he won't, that would have been slightly ridiculous. But they will end up finding the Rubik kill.
That was an RP. That was probably the first RP of the game for Rubik. I guess you do something because, you know, at this point, I don't think TR is planning to team fight anytime soon. So you do you use that cooldown? Sure, but you weren't going to use it anyway. I think that's the point here. They are going to be able to clear out that tier 1 as well with a Shadow Shaman. It's a very fast push. They have lost their tier 1 up top. So I guess in the end, it does draw out even for both teams.
Oh, T1 tower goes down. 5-4. Now, again, another slow game, and I guess it's one of those things with these Medusa drafts. Even the AM for, you know, on the other side, it's just everyone just wants to farm. Nobody really interested at all in trying to go for those big engagements. Not quite yet, anyway. This is very reminiscent of a meta we saw about a year ago, I feel. Just the normal meta, just not too aggressive. Just farm up till you're ready, and then go for a smoke rotation.
Yeah, that does seem to be how this, at the very least, the games we've seen recently, and with this specific draft, is unfolding. I don't really blame them, again, with the heroes they have, as you mentioned. The emphasis is on that farm. So we'll see who eventually takes over. Right now, it does look like Neverend is doing better than Drow, but that Medusa is way too big right now. Like 7.3k, 700 ahead of Kunkka, who's right behind. And that's not exactly a good spot to be in as TR, but it's a very good spot for EHOME.
John, look at his level. He's 6 levels ahead of the AM. He's 3 levels ahead of the Kunkka.
Yeah, not good signs for TR, but again, if it comes down to it, a big room.
Torrent Boat goes in. He commits a Stone Gaze just to make sure they can't initiate any further. Faith Beyond also rotated in just in case. But again, like, yeah, sure, he's not at level 20 yet where he gets the plus 700 mana, but he's at least 3 levels ahead the second person. So it's like, what are the chances they're actually going to get him?
It's very low. You're going to have to commit a lot of things to really get that happening, and you don't have the tools yet. You do have the Blink now on the Magnus, so that is there, but you're going to need your AM there for sure to burst it down. I mean, you're going to have to expend everything, throw everything you have at that Medusa, but I feel like it's going to be worthwhile if that happens. Because, again, it's way too big, ASD's farming way too much, should punish that.
They found Y. X, Torrent will be there. Now the skewer back as well, and Y is dead. Nice little pickup there from the side of TR, and now they find another X onto Faith Beyond. That's not quite as easy as a kill. They will just leave him be. Yeah, just buying time for their AM to just keep farming up. He is going to have to be that late game powerhouse up against this Medusa. But he is almost half the net worth she is right now. And she's not slowing down, John. She hasn't left the jungle in a long time. That attack speed bonus, I really feel like it's paid off quite heavily.
Yeah, just look at that farm acceleration for ASD. His right click is really damn fast. 0.53 per attack now. It's kind of ridiculous. That's without turning on the Mask of Madness too.
Yeah, I was about to question, like, what was even the point of having that Mask of Madness? It's like, still good, I guess, for team fights, but in the end, it's like, you're not going to need it. Now RP again, mid lane, being committed onto that Rubik. Boat will come in, will not end up connecting. Shallow Grave was there, and the boat was stolen. Oh my. That blink in, they will get Faith Beyond. So they get probably a way better target, but you've got to question that RP usage. Again, it's just on a solo Rubik.
I feel like it does come down to what TR wants to do again. And they really don't want to force a 5v5 anyway. They're just trying to find pickoffs whenever they can. They're not going to be roaming into that jungle. They don't quite feel safe yet, especially with that mid-tier 1-up. So the response from EHOME is going to be that much better, no matter where you are in that jungle. And I feel like it's fair enough. Sure, it's just Rubik again, but how many times are you going to 5v5 with TR's lineup right now? With how far behind they are? Not often at all. And in that case, you should just use RP whenever it's up, like even on single targets, because you're not taking these big team fights yet. Oh,
they do end up getting Ego bot lane. Super rotates in. The Torrent boat came out. EHOME, they try to react as fast as possible, but there's only so fast you can react when the TPs, of course, have their own little timer. And again, I don't feel like Ego is the biggest deal, though. Like, his net worth is so low. He's literally a walking aura right now. It's just all about ASD.
Oh yeah, and it's still paying off, I feel. Again, just the amount of the speed that ASD can farm, it's just kind of ridiculous. I mean, it, it's just, it's insane. 67 bonus attack speed, right? And imagine the Mask of Madness, when it's turned on, gives 110. That's more than half what a Mask of Madness does, but without any downtime as long as draws up.
Well, they are going for something bot lane. There is a lift out onto the Kunkka. Super trying to make a run for it. A nice Hex coming out onto the axe, and now Neven comes in. RP is there as well as the boat flying in. Can they actually get him? The RP stolen by the Rubik. It goes onto Neverend and they turn it around. And that's just one thing you have to be afraid about when you do throw out that RP, John. Where's the shockwave afterwards to make sure he can't steal it? They're still going to go for this. Though ASD is full HP right now. No mana left though. Shallow Grave will come out. ASD just going to stand his ground. He'll take 2, he'll take 3, and he will stay alive.
Jesus Christ. Very messy team fight from TR. Again, we've seen this time and time again when you have that Magnus and you don't manage to cast any spells after the RP. It's just very easy for the Rubik to immediately just pick it up, and that really costed him that last team fight, because if that RP didn't come out, AM would have lived long enough to get that Void out on the Medusa and she would be pretty much dead. But that stun lock was long enough to really freeze him into the Stone Gaze as well. And after that, it's just a mess. A total mess coming out from TR. Very well played from EHOME. But I worry for TR right now. They are definitely falling behind. The AM, it needs a bit more to get online, and ASD's Medusa is just... Well, it's level 18 now, Mike. It's 2 levels off that level 20 talent, and once you have that, I mean, they already have troubles with you without it.
Yeah.
Once that's up, it's just going to be near impossible to kill you unless AM progresses in items.
Well, mind you, John, the thing is, the more, if you do go for that plus 700 mana, if they do manage to go through it, that mana void has so much more damage potential. So I guess there is the upside to it, but that's very situational. That's assuming you can get through it.
Yeah, it's... We'll see what they opt for on ASD. I feel like the Stone Gaze duration is not too bad as well. It's definitely pretty useful, especially if you get RP'd, so you have a lot of grace period where you can just... You know, as long as you flick it on with that talent, you're probably going to freeze the enemy team.
Or mid lane. Actually, bot lane, they end up getting Yao on that Magnus, and now they're going for mid. ASD, he goes in, the Poison Touch is there onto Super. Though the Hex was there from the Shaman, and Super will commit his own boat to make sure he can get the hell out, but he lost a lot of HP. ASD may actually go for some chip damage on this tier 3 tower now as well. It's like, why the hell not? They can't deal with you at all. Though the Magnus will buy back, and now their X is there. This is the fight they needed. If they don't miss the torrent and the skewer, and that's going to be a dieback. Oh, yeah, what have you done?
Oh,
John, they
God.
missed everything.
Not good for TR. This set of racks is gone. Like, not even just the tower. I think the entire set of racks is gone. At the very least, that's the only thing they can take. The side lanes still have 2/2s. But it's not looking good for TR, Mike.
I mean, there's just no reason to back off on the side of EHOME, and yeah, they're just going to stand there and just take it for free. Like, why the hell not?
There was some really good creep cuts coming out from our AM though, but okay, they managed to finally take that creep out.
They're going to try again. X is there now. ASD is very low on mana, but they don't have the anti-mage there to help out. The Millirax goes down. Now the shackles do come out onto Y, but look at ASD. He turns around and suddenly over half the Shaman's HP is gone.
Ooh,
This is ridiculous.
TR is losing way too much ground here. You're going to have a hard time finding space for your AM to farm up now. He is pretty close to, I'd say, coming nominally online. Once that man styles up, I suppose you can be a bit tankier and cop a bit more, and definitely dole out a bit more damage. But, you know, take a look at ASD's net worth, 14k now. AM's at 11, recovered quite nicely, but is that going to be enough?
I honestly can't tell you. I mean, like, yeah, sure, the AM's farming, but if they steal that RP again on that Rubik, and it didn't look that hard to do it, apparently, it's just an AM dead. He just can't do anything. Now ASD, he's taking the Roshan with Ego. Apparently, that marksmanship still works on Roshan, because you can see it popping in and out, and that's a lot of damage being procced.
Yeah, that's 120 that pierces through armor.
Goodness me.
It completely ignores armor. So on something like, again, AM, he has 23 armor, Mike. His durability is coming out from that because he does not have HP. If you decide to force the issue against Ego, and he's within activation range of marksmanship, you're gonna melt.
Well, ASD now, top lane. He'll get started on the secondary tier 2 tower left on the map. And now there will only be one left for the side of Roots. They are pushing the tier 2 bot tower, but they've left it alone. They've got to come back and defend now. And ASD, well, he does have an Aegis available, so he's not too afraid, though. Nice X came out, but that only saves him. And they missed the torrent again. You can't afford to miss these, like, not when you're this behind.
That X really cost him that. That could have been a kill, I feel like. But that's a beautiful skewer from Yao. It's just that X. Communication from Super probably just a bit mistimed. Might have wanted to X him after the skewer. Didn't quite happen. And they lose their second melee racks.
Yeah, and ASD, I mean, he's holding an Aegis, John. He's still full HP, basically full mana. They're going to use the ultimate of that Undying. Are they going to initiate, though? Yes, they are. ASD will be the target. Never End jumps on him, but the Stone Gaze comes out just in time. They will hex him up. But do you actually reinitiate on ASD right now? Because he still holds an Aegis. It looks like the answer is no.
It's a really hard team fight to take. Again, that Aegis just makes it so much harder. You're probably going to need a Mana Void for the first kill. It's not going to be there for the second kill. So it's a bit of a tough spot for TR. They lose one full set of racks up top. They only have ranged racks left in the mid. They're saving graces that their tier 2 still holding out in bot lane, but I'm not sure how long that will be around.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Rubik. We're going to have eyes on Never End. Look at that, a smoke rotation coming in. Trying to get something done right now. Never End. They actually lift up the wrong AM, but now they found the Medusa. The RP was only on the Rubik, though. And it looks like they may end up finding the Aegis on the Medusa, but the Rubik's still alive. Stole the boat as well. Gonna throw it back Super's way, and he will just cop it. ASD now moving forward. They have gotten the Rubik at the very least, John. He is dead. Look at the Magnus, though. 1 HP. He will TP out of there. ASD does end up finding Super as a trade, though. I don't understand these RPs on a solo Rubik.
I'm not sure either, Mike. Yao's RPs have not been on point this game, I have to say. Earlier on, again, it's justifiable during the early game when you're not taking these 5v5 team fights, but this time around you expended the smoke. You have a blink. You could probably aim for a bigger target. At very least, if you're going to catch the Rubik, catch it with a +1. Like, if you got the Dazzle there, you could have killed off the Rubik for sure. But, they're going to lose their tier 2 now, it looks like, Mike. I don't think the defense is coming out without that RP, although TR is going up into position anyway.
It feels like they've got no choice, though. Like, they've got to do something. And EHOME actually backing off. I'm very shocked by this. I thought they were going to go all the way for that final racks, and they are actually going to smoke up. Though ASD breaks it straight away. Surely the side of Roots know about this. But they are waiting on that high ground. They want that advantage. Now the Stone Gaze comes out. There is no follow-up quite yet. Yao, 30 seconds away from RP. Looks like Never End will find Y, and Y is in big trouble. He does get a call off, but he is all alone, and he's gone down. Now an X as well. ASD has to be careful. The torrent does end up connecting. Now Yao, Skewer, it will get a lift though, and the gust comes out as well. Can they burst the AM down? He is still silenced throughout all this, but Never End survives, and now the Mana Void, but the Shallow Grave from Faith Beyond will keep him alive. He has a BKB throughout all this, but he never commits it. And with that, he does end up going down on that Medusa. Now again, a 3-man gust, RP, Yao will cancel it off, and it looks like Faith Beyond actually going to end up fighting Never End. What the bloody hell is going on here? They do end up finding the Dazzle.
The buyback?
Oh my, what a mistake though. Like, you think you're safe because it's a Dazzle. And then you remember when you die that it's a core dazzle.
That was, I'm pretty sure he got a lot of procs of bad juju up at, he is level 18, so again, 50% CDR mic, 9-second cooldown in Poison Touch, 4-second cooldown in Shadow Wave. Of course, you're going to be able to stack a lot of minus armor onto the enemy team, and, well, you have to watch out. That's what Core Dazzle can do if it comes online fast, and in this game, Fabian definitely did come online fast. You are now trying to find some space on the map. They take out that tier 1 mid, which makes a Roshan just a bit harder for EHOME, but not by much. They still have superior map control right now.
Well, they're trying to go for that bot Rax. Understanding there's no buyback available on that Medusa, this is one of their only chances to sneak a quick Rax while they can. And they will get started on the melee, though the Medusa now is back. But if she dies, why he jumps in with the call onto 2 heroes. Now the Stone Gaze as well. Ego just hitting in the backlines. The RP was only onto 1. And it's not going to save the AM anyway. Yao trying to make a run for it, but look at that damage. And now the RP was stolen again by the Rubik. He found Super. They call GG, John. It's just too much. DDC, he wants a TP, and he does, but the game's over.
Yeah. No buyback on AM. I guess they felt like, within that 90-second time span, they could just lose your lose your tier 4s, lose the Ancient. Fair enough call from TR, and rather surprising. Again, I figured them to be the favorites against EHOME as, well, they beat EHOME multiple times in multiple back-to-back series, but EHOME does come out on top this time, and we're going to go into Game 2 seeing how TR reacts, because that was a very strong showing from EHOME, Mike.
Yeah, it certainly was. Well, ladies and gentlemen, final game of the day coming up. It is, of course, going to be EHOME versus Team Root. We'll see what they can do on the side of Root to try and make this a 1-to-1. Of course, it is MLPDota and johnxfire. If you are enjoying, consider following us on Twitter to support. Otherwise, hopefully, and I hope to God we don't have any more delays, we'll be back very soon. Be right back, guys.